Hello, Ellie here from Thankful Flow Yoga. Thank you for tuning in to another one of my YouTube practices. Today I have a really gentle flow that's especially designed for back care. So we're going to be doing some gentle stretches that might be helpful for someone who has kind of certain issues with their lower back or kind of problems in that area. But as always, if you're new to yoga, I would always consult a medical professional if you have sort of injuries or kind of certain health and medical problems, and there's no kind of one size fits all. So as always, just really listening to your body, seeing what feels right for you. So this is suitable for kind of all levels, even a complete beginner. As always, I would suggest having kind of blocks and props there to support you in your practice. And we will start the class with grounding. So we'll come into a seated position to begin with. And coming into a comfortable seated position. So I'm cross-legged, but if you would rather have your legs out in front, then you can. And you can always use blocks and props under the hips or the thighs to support you. Coming into this neutral spine position to begin with. And bring one hand to the chest and one hand to the belly. Start to close your eyes. And start to notice where your breath's traveling to within your body. Notice how the body feels with your hands in this position. Maybe it feels supportive. Maybe you can feel the connection between your hands and the body. Perhaps feeling the belly and the chest rise and fall with your breath. Start to open the eyes back up when you're ready. Release the hands. We're going to make our way into a child's pose now to start the class. So for child's pose, we're sitting the hips back towards the heels and then melting the chest and the forehead down to the mat. So you could always prop something in between your heels and your hips if there's quite a bit of space there and you feel like you're tensing at all. You could grab cushions or blankets. You could also have these cushions and blankets underneath the knees and legs as well. So taking any support you need. Then start to melt down onto your mat. You can either close the eyes or take a steady gaze. So this is gently stretching the spine. So this is a gentle spinal flexion that we're having here in this position. Sometimes this child's pose is a really nice, gentle way to stretch the lumbar spine, to the lower back. And what we're trying to do is let go and release all the muscles, become really passive, make this into a restorative position. Start to walk the hands over to the right side, finding a stretch through the left side body, staying low in your child's pose, breathing into the stretch here. Then start to walk the hands through to center and over to the left side, finding a stretch through the right side body. Walk the hands back to neutral and start to lift the hips away from the heels, opening the eyes if you have them closed. So coming into your tabletop position. So shoulders above the wrists, hips above the knees. Inhale, start to send your gaze forwards, open across the chest. So shining your heart forwards here. On your next exhale, drop the head round the spine, come up and out of the shoulders and tuck your tailbone in. Draw the belly button in towards the spine. Inhale, lift the gaze, shine the heart forwards. Exhale, drop the head around the spine. And if it feels good to you, you could pause in your cat or cow for longer. Breathe into the stretch. Or you can flow a bit more fluidly with your own breath. So opening across the chest on the inhale and rounding on the exhale. Maybe your hair's going all over the place like mine is. Trying to lead with your breath. Coming through your last cat and cow. And then meeting back in a neutral position from here. Start to tuck the toes under and we're gonna walk the feet in towards the hands. Feet roughly hip width apart. Take as much softness as you need to through the legs and hang down in a forward fold. You can take the hands on the elbows if that feels good too. Really releasing tension through the head and the neck. If this feels too intense on your spine at any point, I know sometimes it can, then of course, slowly and gently come out of the fold if something doesn't feel right. It can be quite a strong place to be, but this is a really great stretch to work into a regular routine if you can. Stretching through the backs of the legs, we're stretching the spine, but we're also releasing, letting go through the upper body, so releasing tension from the head and the neck. We're in an inversion, technically, because the heart is above the head, so we're increasing that blood supply to the head, helping with re-energizing, focus, concentration, calming the mind as well when you're in this position. Start to release the hands from the elbows and snake the body up to standing, so with a rounded spine. Keeping as much softness as you need to through the legs, and the head's going to come up last. From here, we're going to inhale and reach the fingertips up to the sky, grow the spine tall. Exhale, hinging from the hips, float down into a forward fold. Inhale, lift the chest and lengthen the spine, halfway lift. Grow the spine long. Exhale, float the hands down to the mat, step the feet back, either meeting in a plank or you could drop the knees down to modify here. Checking in with that center line of energy through the body. Exhale, drop the knees down to the mat, lower the rest of the body down so that you're lying on your belly. And then inhale, roll the shoulders, peel the chest away from the mat, cobra. Press the tops of your feet into the mat, engaging the legs and the glutes. Exhale, melt your chest back down to the mat. Inhale, ground through the hands, lift the chest away, either coming straight back to your downward facing dog if that's in your practice, or tuck those toes under from tabletop. And on your exhale, send your hips to the sky, downward facing dog. Remembering that if this is not for you today, then you could come to a child's pose or tabletop position. You're coming into your downward facing dog. Try bending the knees here if you haven't already. So I want you to intentionally bend the legs. And then from here, press the mat away from you with your hands and send your hips to the sky. And find some extra length in the spine. And then from here, maybe you then start to lengthen through the legs in your downward facing dog. They don't have to become straight. The heels don't have to be on the mat. So we're stretching through the backs of the legs. We're also lengthening through the spine as well in this pose. But strengthening the core, strengthening the upper body. A lot going on. Try and relax the head. Breathing here. On your next inhale, start to send your gaze between your hands and step or walk the feet in. Lift the chest, lengthen the spine, halfway lift. Reach the crown of your head to the wall in front of you. Exhale, forward fold, soften the legs as much as you need to. Inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky, grow the spine tall. Exhale, bring the hands through to heart center, well done. And then from here, we're going to step this right leg back. So finding a high lunge on your mat. This back leg doesn't have to be straight, that can be bent. And you could always drop the back knee down to modify and make it into a low lunge if you prefer here. And then checking that this front knee is roughly in line with the ankle. Inhale, sweep your fingertips up to the sky, grow the spine tall, lifting up and out from the waist. Breathing here, keep lifting on your inhales, releasing on the exhales. Now starting to open into a wide leg position on your mat. And then I want you to pivot the toes so that they're facing in. So toes are facing forward, wide leg stance. And you can pigeon toe the feet slightly here if that feels good too. Bring your hands to your hips. And inhale, reach the crown of your head to the ceiling. And as you exhale, start to come forwards into your restorative Padottanasana, really hinging from the hips. If you need to keep some bend in the legs in your restorative, then you can. Maybe you're staying further up, maybe you're coming down to this halfway point, maybe the hands are reaching the mat, or you could have them on blocks as well. Try and see how it feels to lightly bring the weight into the balls of the feet. Start to inhale and lift the chest really slowly with control, lifting the body so that you're coming back into a neutral position with the spine. And then we're going to move over to this right side. So my right leg's in front, so I'm facing the opposite way on my mat. Bringing this back heel away and find your high lunge on the other side. So right leg's in the front, left leg's coming out, back behind you. This leg could be lengthened or you could be bending it. And then when you're ready, inhale, sweep those fingertips up to the sky. Really lift the ribs away from the hips. Lifting up and out from the waist. Breathing here. Well done, and start to step this left foot back in, meeting in Tadasana mountain pose at the top of your down through the feet. Inhale, sweep your fingertips up to the sky, grow the spine tall. Exhale, hinge from the hips, float forwards, forward fold. Soften the legs as much as you need to. Inhale, lift the chest, lengthen the spine, halfway lift. Exhale, flow the hands down to the mat, step the feet back and drop the knees straight down and lower down to the mat so that you're lying on your front. And then from here, inhale, roll your shoulders back, peel the chest away from the mat, come into your Sphinx position. So forearms are coming down onto the mat. And we're sending the gaze forward, so a light spinal extension here. You might feel the stretch through the front body as well. Breathing here, sending the gaze forwards. Exhale, start to release the chest back down to the mat. You can rest your head on your hands for a moment, close off the eyes or take a steady gaze and relax all the muscles in your body. And then starting to open the eyes, bringing a bit of movement back. We're going to roll over so that we're lying on your back. If it's not comfortable for you to roll over, then make your way into a lying position on your back, however you need to. And then once you're here, you're going to have the legs bent and start to send your right arm out to the right side. And then you might want to lift the knees slightly and then drop those knees over to the left. And allow your gaze to come over to the right. So gaze is coming in the opposite direction to the legs, coming into your supine twist. Breathing here. If you're finding that your legs are lifting really high and they're nowhere near the mat as you come into your twist, a nice option might be to stack some cushions or a bolster underneath the legs, or you could stack up your blocks to support your legs so that you can focus on really letting go and relaxing into the twist, rather than kind of adding any tension here. So just a nice option to think about. Start to draw the legs back to neutral. Well done. Taking your time, being really gentle. And then this time the left arm comes out to the left side. And we're dropping the legs over to the right. Allowing the gaze to come over to the left. Allow your body to melt into the twist on this side. And then we'll start to slowly bring the legs back to neutral again. And then draw the soles of your feet down to the mat and bring your feet to the outside edges of your mat and allow your knees to drop in. This can be a nice way to support the spine, especially the lower back, rather than having the legs lengthened. And then you could either bring the arms out to the side here or have them on the belly. And close the eyes or take a steady gaze coming into your Shavasana. Start to take slow and soft breaths. Allow yourself to be the watcher, the observer of your thoughts, of anything that's alive for you. Sometimes interesting to notice where the mind goes when it's in stillness. And when you're ready, slowly starting to come out of your Shavasana. But if you have longer, then please do stay in for as long as you have. If you're ready to close off the practice, meet me back in a comfortable seated position on your mat. Opening the eyes when you're ready, taking a steady gaze. And we'll take a releasing breath to close off the practice. So that's inhaling through your nose and then exhaling out through the mouth. This can be like a big sigh. So inhale through the nose for 1, 2, 3. Exhale, release. Thank you for joining me for this short practice. Do let me know your feedback and comment below, or subscribe to this channel to see more videos. I hope that you found it helpful and beneficial. And if you would like more in-depth practices or live online classes, etc., then do take a look at the link below to my membership. Thank you. Bye-bye.